Holy moly, well that was a Sunday, wasn't it? A few blokes out. It's all happening in this part of the world. Here we are with the Seagulls and the Tigers, and is Tommy really worth 40 points? I think he is. Maybe more. Wow. Another game where Tigers are just pretty terrible and the Eagles just ran rampant behind DCE and Tommy there. So awesome work from the Manly boys. All the teams on the bottom of the ladder are deciding to have a good crack. Dogs, Cowboys, Eagles. But here we are, guys. Some lessons learnt from this week. We'll go through a certain bunch of players and where we're at with that side of things. But DC up top with 84 again, up and down. He's going to keep doing it. But you look at the average over the year. If you're holding him strong from the start, then you're doing completely fine. Obviously, he has lost 74k. He did average 64 last year, but going into the year, I did say he'd probably average around that 61, 62, maybe even 60. So he's holding steady with that, and you'd imagine that if Manly keep winning, that he'll improve his scores and at least hold that average right now. So you'd be silly to be moving him on by any in any case, but with him, I wouldn't be thinking about bringing him in with Origin popping up. He'll be the number 7 for the Queensland boys with Munster at 6. So keep that in mind with him. But great work from DCE, and Marty Tapau finally has a really good game, and you came to expect this of him in the previous years, but this year he just hasn't been as good, I don't think, and did pick up a try this game and 4 offloads and 6 tackle breaks, so well done to him. And that's 2 really good games in a row from Garrick. Obviously he's kicking the goals, which is going to be helpful, but getting a try in each of the games, a bunch of tackle breaks, so well done to him. And if you actually started with Ruben, you've made 127k, so very interesting, especially with how bad he started, and that 260s in a row has really helped his scoring. A lot of people brought in Tommy Trebojevic this week, and boy did he deliver again, and didn't even have to play the full 82 games in a row. And from what NRL Physio say and all these guys, that the majority of re-injuries in hamstrings happen in the first 2 weeks, and he's made it through those 2, which is great. So 65 and 67 across the first 2 games, he can't complain at all, and he's just incredible. There's within 5 minutes, 2 pretty much the exact same players about 5 meters apart, just punching through 2 defenders. Like, I don't know if it's just soft defense or how good his acceleration and his strength is, but he's amazing. And then you've got DCE just in the backfield, just always following him, and I would be too, that's for sure. So yeah, obviously a great option. He's already made 72k, 46k just in this week alone. So if you missed the first score and picked him up this week, you got 26k. You only missed out on 26k of value. So well done if you own him, and he's still a fair bit undervalued. I'd expect him to average somewhere in the 50s though. He hasn't been someone in the past that's been one of the top guys. Obviously, usually it's because he doesn't play a full season, and his averages will drop a little bit because he plays games like this where he has 60 odd minutes and stuff. So, but great work for him. You're really happy with his output so far. All right, Schuster comes in with a line break and a try for DCE there, and 35 tackles, 5 busts, only 61 meters. So you'd probably like to see him run the ball a little bit more, but he was in the mid 50s very early. Like, I think it was about 20 minutes to go. He was about 55. So for him to end up 57, I think he had 2 penalties within 2 minutes and just a few demerits, and didn't run the ball as much from then on. So again, really happy with where he's at. He's another 35k up, 282k in total. And I think he's going to be a keeper this year, and someone you can split between the half and the edge position is just perfect. So well done to him. Lucy Leilua is someone I said is a bit of a smoky, of someone to possibly bring in over the next few weeks. And he did get a try, but the rest of his stats were a little bit down, and that's why he ended up with a 53. So he's been averaging 56 within that, and not scoring tries. So for him to, I think it gets kind of lucky that he scored a try early, but just didn't have the attacking stats, and makes sense when they obviously got smashed. So I think Lucy, he's been holding his own even in a beaten side in most games, but when you get done by 40, it's very hard for you to. It's lucky he didn't have many missed tackles. So you take the 53 if you've got him. Lockie Croker, what a shocker, hey? 166k gain, and we all moved him on pretty quickly. I think I got 60 to 70k in gains before that, but 2 try savers, 42 tackles, no misses. You're going to get 50. So well done to him. Ola with 51 in his 49 minutes. So got a few extra minutes off the bench this week, and did get a line break and try assist as well, which is going to bump up his stats with a bunch of tackle breaks. But he's someone who's going to. He will make a fair bit of cash, you'd imagine. I'm expecting probably similar to where he's averaging right now, with the up game where he gets some attacking stats, and somewhere in the 30s when he plays about 40 minutes. So well done to him. And if you're sitting with 12 right now, you're a little bit annoyed with the output that you're getting from him. Unfortunately, a lot of the time he's just getting the one stint, which is killer. But he had that one game or two where he had the big minutes and he got point a minute 70 kind of thing, and then he's got games where 35 minutes and then 45 this game, and really frustrating because he scores well. I don't know what the theory is, because they need some good defense through the middle, and yes, they probably need some attacking options as well, and he's not someone that is attacking, but for him to only get that type of minutes for a workhorse type of player, I think they should just put him in the front row. I don't know what you guys think, but he's obviously not a ball player, which you kind of are looking for in that 13 role. You got Radley, Watson, these types of guys that are doing well in their respective sides. When you've got 12 there, you should just use him as a front rower, and I suppose they just don't have a lot of options, really, do they? But play some big minutes through the front row, I think would be smarter for him, because you want at least 60 from him if you're an owner. I have him in the alternates team, and 52 average is okay, but he's down 50k now for the year, so not someone I'd be panicking about. Definitely holding him, but annoying. It's kind of, as I said, this is his baseline 52, and the hope was that he'd get bigger minutes, and he has in certain games, but not in others, so annoying. Luke Brooks starting to lose a little bit of money now, unfortunately, so 2 games in a row that haven't been too high for him. I did move him on in the alternates and picked up Moses, who only got 51 or 52, and you're like, shit, Brooks will come out and go really well against Manly, and obviously in a team that got beat pretty convincingly. For him to score 42 is not terrible, but he's still got a try assist, plenty of tackles in there, and doing a bit of everything, but he's not a keeper, and I think you're happy with the 60, 70k you might have got for him a few weeks ago, and you can probably move him on. The only worry is that he does play in that first buy round, so if you're going to trade him, I think you need to trade him to go right up to a Cleary or Moses, these types of guys, and looking for guys that are going to play in 13 would be ideal. Off Angawi, still making some cash, a few less points this week on the edge, obviously makes sense. LOA, also good. Tarmow Simpkins, so 41 in his 69 minutes, so didn't get the 80 this week, but again, 6 missed tackles, did get a turnover tackle. I think you're happy with anything in the 40s for him, and you can actually play him and be confident that he's going to score somewhere there. And if he gets the 80 minutes, you can look for somewhere around 50 points. But 83k gain so far in just a couple of games. Really happy with that output. Hopefully we can get him up to 450, 500k by after that first buy round, and we can move him on from there. Would be my suggestion, because I don't think he's going to be a keeper. He's obviously a very raw young player there. Bradley Parker, Harper, Nofo, 35. Just keeps losing money, unfortunately. And again, Tigers, I think, have to turn into a better team for Nofo to be a keeper again on the edge, on the wing for him there. Saab with 34, so anyone had to play him, you'd be happy with that. Picked up a try. Drabojevic is the one, Jakey boy, that's a bit of an issue at the moment. He's dropped 137k. It'd be very interesting in a bunch of weeks, or maybe after the first buy round or something, or it could be in cash cow territory in the mid 500s, and have 100 or so k to make if you can get back to like a 50, 52 average there. But if you have him, I think it's probably warning signs that you should be trading him now before you lose too much more cash. He's going to be playing Origin as well, so something to think about if you still own Jakey boy. Adam Dewey with 607k. I've been sprouting him, spruiking him, and then he comes out and gets 31, and it makes complete sense against a team when you get done by 40. So good thing was in the previous games they would be getting beat, not this convincingly, but they'd be getting beat, and he'd still be scoring and averaging 50. So again, just try to think of him as he's a wing fullback, right? He's got the half dual as well, but a lot of your wing fullbacks are going to score a 30, and if that's kind of their low or their base there, then you can take that, and when they score tries or he kicks more meters or whatever it is, then he's going to get like a 60 odd, 70 odd, and you get that 50 odd average. So I still think he's a great option, and you get him about 12k cheaper now. So look into that over, and maybe you can even leave him over the next week and possibly pick him up the week after for a fair bit cheaper or closer to the buy round. So good thing is if you're looking to wait a bit longer for him, then this score will drop his price rises there, and you can get him a tad cheaper. Moses Mbai is getting into cash cow territory as well. 311. We'll get down to Tommy Talau shortly, who's probably almost basement price now. Paseka, Kepi, Foreign. Stefano, you bastard. He killed me in my team. I ended up playing him when I found Tohu was out. I moved him up, and I should just had him at number 5 and tried to loop him, but oh well. 24, he only got 30 minutes, so of course the game where I wanted to play him, he doesn't get like 40, 45 minutes, so annoying that he can start the game and only get 30 minutes, 25 in the first inning, they played in the last 5 or 6, so annoying that way, and now we've lost his price rises with that 24, so he's going to have to get back into a high 30s to 40 point scores for him to make a little bit more cash, but I think again you can just hold him until that first, after that first buy round, play him in that, and then you can move him on and milk that cash cow, because he has done a great job at 190k. Just annoying that he didn't get more minutes this game. And obviously, when the other team's scoring a lot of tries, there's less opportunity for tackles and runs, etc. So Musgrove again showing why you're probably not ideal to pick up these types of players. You got a few price rises out of him, but that's about all. Roberts with 9 again. Jeez Louise. He's lost 50k from 336. That's terrible. And Tommy Talau down to 271. Robertson and Tommy just trying to outdo each other, I think. Ugh, poor blokes. And Dane Laurie finally loses some cash for the first time. So negative 9k this week. He's made 230. Again, when a Tigers team's going to really struggle, get done by 40, then Dane's not going to have a special game. Obviously, no tackle breaks at all. It's very rare. And when he was averaging 46 before this game, he's definitely not a trade out. He's going to be playing round 13. You've just got to hold him there. And at worst, he becomes your fourth wing fullback option. If you don't want to play him, they come up against they played the Storm the other week and he did pretty well. So just an off game for him. And I'd imagine he'll bounce back. He won't be happy with his performance as well as the whole team. So you'd imagine they'll have some sort of bounce back attempt. So there you go, guys. That's our first game. If you're enjoying these type of wrap-ups, please hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate all that so far. Roosters and the Dragons. So 34-10 to the Roosters, and much more clinical performance for the Roosters this week, and obviously led by Sammy Walker again. Dragons just weren't themselves, and they had a few there's so many weird selections on this Sunday. Like Jack Bird playing in the 7 role was strange. Obviously, he played more like a 5'8" because he didn't do much kicking, but for him, he has played a fair bit of 6, obviously coming into the league, but when they were playing so well, I don't understand what the decision was to move Clune back to the bench. I think he's played really well, and that really stuffed him up on the weekend. I think I don't know if that was the reason, or Clune might have been sick, and they didn't want to play him a full game or something. But yeah, I think that experiment might be over after that type of performance. And here you go with Joshy Maguire moving over to the Dragons, and he comes off the bench and playing 60 minutes. So I think that hurt our boy Alvaro a little bit. But you think it'd kind of have to with him playing 59 minutes. But scored really well. I don't think he's going to be an option. Merrin had a bunch of good games off the bench, and a few people picked him up and got burned a little bit. So I wouldn't be going near Maguire, for example. But Sammy Walker was 67. I did manage to loop him because I had him as my number 5 after last week. But yeah, he's especially against the lesser teams. Obviously, Dragons have been doing well, but they're not a Storm, for example. I think you can probably just play Walker and be confident with it. Up 170k now. If you haven't got him, you've probably almost missed out. It's 400k. I'd expect him to average somewhere where he's averaging now, maybe a 41, 42 over the season, and that gives him another 100 or so k to make over this next period. And for anyone that was stressed about Angus and decided to pick Tohu over him and got burnt last minute, that was an absolute shocker. Poor blokes. Whoever that happened to, I have both of them, so didn't matter too much. But Crichton, this is what we expected from him. He has dropped 73k, which is not what I expected, but maybe he's just warming into the season a little bit. He hasn't had any really outstanding games yet. He's had 1 try or something like that so far. But 61, you take that with the type of Sunday we had, especially. Sims again with a try and a decent score. Collins, I really think is a great option. He's been incredible. 111k up. He already is. And with Talkeaho out at this stage, then Collins going to do a bulk of the work through the middle. And I think this is definitely his best year. But he's someone that's going to be playing Origin too, you'd imagine. So that's kind of the worry with picking him up. And that 41 minutes is probably not ideal. If you're looking at 60 minutes or something like that, then he's going to be a great option. And yeah, I think probably hold off on him for now, but he's doing really well. It'd be nice to have in your squad right now. That's the kind of feel I'm getting from him. Satilli with 60, so welcome back to him. Got back to his try scoring ways. Unfortunately for those that owned him, he's only up 8k in total now. So he was incredible at the start, and obviously had his head knock and didn't play and lost plenty of cash, and now he's come back and scored well. So again, if you're holding him, you can keep going for a little bit, but I wouldn't be picking him up at this stage. Joey Manu, a lot of people were saying, is he a sell last week? And I actually think this week that Teddy getting hurt and Joey moving to 1 actually really helps his scoring. So it was good to see that he picked up a try, first one of the year. So yeah, for your centre to average 41 with only 1 try for the year, then you know they're a guy that you can just set and forget. And that was my reasoning with him. As like he's done this over the last bunch of years, and it's a really cool lesson to learn. It's just that the guys like Satilli, yes, he got a bit unlucky with the head knock, but he hasn't done it for years on end. Crichton, we were like, he's done it for years in a row, and for him to be a down year of averaging 60, it's that kind of thing. And Manu, like he's someone that averages in the mid 40s, and for him to be at 41 right now is a little bit down from where he is, but that means you can pick him up at a discount and you can set and forget him for the year. He doesn't play Origin. He only misses 1 game over that period, which is great. So I'm obviously lucky to own him at this stage, but he did get 13 last week, which is not all that exciting when I could have picked someone like Peachy. But yeah, someone you can set and forget. Norman's been playing pretty well. Butcher with 51. He always scores well when he gets some minutes. Amac with 50 this week. So his lowest score of the year. Got a try assist and still only gets 50. So he's someone that needs to make over 50 tackles. And again, there was a lot of time wasted from try scoring, which just stops his defensive work a little bit there. Rads with a small improvement there with 49. So you're really happy with his output in this game. He's priced at 510. So just remember that you're picking him up, hoping for him to average around 50. So if he can keep this up over the next bunch of weeks, he'll begin to make some cash. So if you have him, hold on steady. You're playing him basically. You'd much rather play him over Stefano or even Alvaro, these types of guys, and he's only a little bit more expensive than them. But I wouldn't pick him up at this stage. Morris with 47, you take that for him. His first price drop of the year with neg 10k. Hutchison 42. Anyone that has him, you've made a bit of cash, and it could be getting closer to moving him on. Blake Laurie 41. Tupou Morris. Billy Burns gets in and has a game. He's very cheap, but it'll be interesting to see how they use him going forward. Obviously, Merrin's not part of the team anymore, but Maguire's taken that spot. It'd be interesting if Burns keeps that spot, then he's got a little bit of cash to make. Playing 60 minutes a game. If he keeps it over Kerr, who moved to the bench this week, that 262k, he becomes interesting for sure. Alvaro with 34 minutes and 36 points. Happy with that PPM. No attacking stats this week. Yeah, again, you can kind of try to keep playing him, and especially if you've got a bunch of injuries or suspensions, then he's a good stopgap, and you can have him in the interchange there and keep playing him. But moving on to Jackie Bird, 35. With that, again, moved to a different position and didn't get to run the ball as much as he would have liked. He still got 82 meters, but you'd be having for a bit over 100 meters and some more attacking stats there. He's done really well, and if you bought him in, you were kind of a bit annoyed he got moved, but happy with another 27k added to his bank. And how's everyone's team value looking at the moment? I think I'm at 12.7 or 12.8 mil, which is pretty cool. We're moving up in the world basically. Fui with 30 this week, bit annoying. Again, a lot of people would have had to play him this week, so you're not really happy with the 30. But again, someone I think you can just keep holding until the buy round. Benji Marsh, for anyone who picked him up, he split the time with Verrills this week, so close to 40 minutes each. We got Dufty. Yeah, 2 low scores in a row for him makes it really tough to hold. I was hoping that he could be for those that have him, but now you're worried about the price, going forward. And can you hold him? I think you got to look at his next bunch of fixtures, and if you think they're fairly comfortable fixtures, I think he'll be scoring a lot better than his 27. But again, this is what happens with fullbacks. So Verrills with 32 minutes. Like, what did you guys? I actually thought he had a really good game. His first few touches were great, so I think he's going to warm into the season nicely. And if he does get the starting spot, you'd expect. Well, I'd be expecting 50 to 60 minutes, and I think that would be worth bringing him at this price. If you needed to make 2 trades and downgrade one and then upgrade elsewhere to get a keeper, I think Verrills is someone that's really cool to bring in. And I think he gave us enough 1 week to have a look at him. I think was great. because he was never going to score amazingly with the two, him and Marsh playing together. So I think, yeah, now you can look to pick him up going forward. And Lomax and Teddy are last 2 and 3 on this list. So 13 for Lomax is really tough. Tough to watch if you've picked him up as as your gun center option, and you got guys like Peachy and Bird doing alright, and Manu and these types of guys. So just under a 40 average this year, which is really interesting. They obviously have a few more weapons across the park, whereas last year was kind of like Lomax, Dufty. They were kind of the only two guys they could go to. So, and when they're going to lose, he's not going to keep kicking goals, and he's someone that's been averaging under 100 meters a game. So again, that's also an issue. I wouldn't be rage trading him. There'll be a lot of people who'll be thinking about possibly bringing him in, and that's a very similar thing with Tedesco right now. 34 minutes, 6 points is obviously not great at all. I was expecting a big game out of him, and unfortunately that wasn't to be. But 89k he's lost this week. So we own him in the People squad. I have him in the alternates team, and I don't see why you would possibly trade him out. Obviously, if he's going to be out out for a few weeks with some concussion symptoms, that might keep him out for 8-9. You get him back for a few games, and then he's out for Origin, and they might rest him a little bit over that. So that's kind of the stuff you want to think about. But 655k in my main team, I'd be thinking about possibly picking him up soon. Like, I was having a look at possible trade outs for Turpin, for example, and Teddy there at the exact same price as Turpin is so exciting to watch and be like, oh, I could just trade him in, play him over Laurie, or what it is. So something to think about with Ted there. I'd be looking to hold him unless he's out for. I'd say if he's out for 2 weeks from here, then you could probably think about trading him out, as he's going to miss 4, possibly 5 games over the next 10 rounds. So 5 out of 10 rounds is not very exciting at all if you're an owner. So that's that game, guys. Let me know what you thought on that one. I said I feel like the Roosters were a lot more clinical this game, and Dragons just, I think, lost the plot a little bit with moving Clune over to the bench there. So and then we moved to the Storm and the Warriors in the last game, and God, this was a killer, wasn't it? Tohu out earlier on in the day, or the day before, I think, and then O'Sullivan gets dropped. Did anyone hear of any injury or anything? I'm pretty sure he just got dropped for Walsh in there, and they had Bailey Sirenen as 7, which they move RTS to the wing as well. Which what I saw in attack, RTS was playing 6, kind of just hung on the right hand side. He wasn't switching left to right like he would at fullback, and Walsh was playing a little bit of 6 / fullback across the game, and even kicked a few times. So like Walsh, he looks solid, but I don't know. I just don't feel like moving RTS out of fullback is the right decision. He's one of the best fullbacks in the game, and obviously I'm a bit biased owning him on my team. And they got beat up pretty bad for the majority of the game, and scored a try at the end. But for him to not have his hands on the ball a bit less than what he normally would, I think was probably a bit of a silly move. Yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts. So I mean, Walsh looked like he could play a 6. I think that might be smarter if they play him at 6 there, and you've got Cody and Walsh there as options, and then you got RTS out swinging out the back. I think is a better option. But please tell me that there was a few people. I had a few people that messaged me like, "Oh, should I get rid of Hughes?" And then back-to-back weeks he's got like 80. So he had an amazing game, and they let him go through once or twice really easily to pick up 78 points and get an early mark was great for him. 4 tries, just 3 line breaks. So awesome stuff. Kafusi was 62, Addo 61. If anyone holding Addo, well done to you. If you had to play him too, I imagine you might have with Pap being out, so well done. Munster with 59, so kicking goals whilst Pap's out is obviously going to help as well. If you take that away, he's 49. So a little bit of a slower game, but when Hughes is doing all the heavy lifting, you didn't have to do too much anyway. He was just like give Addo and Olam early ball and let them do their thing. So anyone holding Remus, I think a lot of people would have had to play him this week, especially in the wing fullback position, and you're absolutely cheering 57 with 2 tries there. I think he's actually looking better and better each week. What do you guys reckon? A few people are saying maybe we should, it'd be nice to see him on the wing, for example, but I think he played really well, and he might move with Jennings going down with a head knock. I believe that in their short turnaround, Remus might move to the wing this week, but you can probably keep playing him, and he's finally making a little bit of cash. So well done for you guys. Nico Hines always looked good. Murdoch Pasilla, nice try there, but again, not an option. Nico, you kind of want to keep losing cash so that you can possibly pick him up as a cash out option over the buy period. That's something to think about. with Pat maybe being rested a few times, but something to think about. And hopefully, if he sneaks under like a 280, 270, that would be cool. Get a couple of good scoring games out of him, and then have him as a non-player, and cover if Pat gets injured, for example. Whoops, losing my marbles here. Yeah, that could be a cool option there. Harry Grant with 36, losing some more money. Beautiful. Get him down in the 600s, please. But Walshy there with 46 and Walsh with 45. So I ended up having to loop Welsh. Didn't want to, but stuffed up and had to do that, which got me Walker's points, which was great. So picked up 17 extra points, and that's a cool thing to do with that looping system is have a Walker which you can get a 20 or a 60 and have him there as your looping option. Walsh looks odd. I think 254k. If he's going to be getting a spot, for the rest of the year, then he's going to be cool. Obviously, they won't be playing 13, so that's partly an issue. But if he plays anything like what he does on the weekend, and probably will play better against some of the lesser teams other than Storm, I think he's going to be a great option. He's obviously extremely talented, and that's what you're looking for there. As I said, Grant losing some cash. Will he keep playing this role for the next while? He might do, and we might be able to get him real cheap soon. Olam with 36, you happy with his output? He has lost a little bit of cash this week, but that's fine. Joshy Curran with 36, and he had one of the worst sin binnings I've seen in a while. Look, you head clash with someone just from a normal tackle and you get sin bin. So obviously he lost 5 points from that with the penalty, 7 points, and then 10 minutes on the field. So he would have been somewhere in the 40s, which you'd be completely happy with for a player in a team that got beat pretty bad and picked up a try assist too. So if you got Curran, you're fine as long as he keeps his spot, as we were talking about. Brandon Smith a bit lower this week. Bunty Afoa 33, along with with Tavanga with 30 and Armour with 30. Really crappy scores from those guys, as well as Nikarima and Tui. So a lot of 30s in this game, and if you pick these guys up, you're not happy with the output. Obviously, Nico and Kama both made 14 and 15k respectively, but you're not happy with their output, unfortunately. And a few of these guys are probably looking like trades eventually. Bunty you can hold for a bit, I'd imagine, at 401k. Cody, again, it's a game against the Storm, and he's going to have easier ones, so you got to keep riding the highs and lows at 622k and an average of 52. Keep riding them. Tui, with the less minutes, with Finucane coming back, we probably thought this was going to be the case. So it might be a good opportunity if you've held him for a long time, is to move him on from this stage. Tavanga with 30. Still 48 minutes, and that's the worry with the guys that have less minutes. And this happened a few times to me last year owning him, is that he might get amazing 50 or 60 in his 50 minutes or 55 minutes, and then nothing happens in the attacking stats. He doesn't run the ball that much, 42 meters there, and he doesn't score as well. And this is obviously going to happen a little bit more against the better teams for him. He did spend a little bit of time at dummy half as well, which stopped his running potential, but he's definitely a hold at this point, and he's still he's 590k. So you can rock the good with the bad when they pick up a 70 and they pick up a 30 for a 50 average. He's still undervalued based off of that 50 average, for example. So keep that in mind, but someone to think about there. I'm out at 504k is getting closer to a trade out. At 504k now, you're expecting scores in the 40 and in the 40 market, and he wasn't able to deliver that in 43 minutes, which you wouldn't expect going forward. I think another hold for another couple of weeks, but if you are looking to upgrade or you have the cash to, I think he's a really good target to go up to, 700, 800k type of player. Moving along, Roger, so 25 in his 80 minutes, and he obviously spent time defending on the edge and played a little bit of 6, and he thankfully got a few tackle breaks right at the end of the game and got involved. He was like 9 points for the majority of the game, so a bit of a frustrating ending for myself in my team, but just weird to see that he got moved to the wing. Like, I just don't feel like that's deserving. He's a great bloke for saying that Walsh needs to play, but surely you can get Walsh in another way other than moving your best player. That's just my thoughts. What else we got? Special mention to Marcelo Montoya for 0 points in 80 minutes. So well done to him. 40 meters gained, 6 tackles, 3 missed tackles, and 2 errors. So well done, Marcelo. I hope no one owns him. But there you go, guys. That's the round 7 wrap up. Lessons learned, hey? What did you guys learn for league? Let me know what you guys learned in this one. And I suppose the O'Sullivan thing was left field, but it's something to think about. With the guy that has never been a regular first grader. For him to pop up and get his chance, yeah, it's great. But if things don't work out as well as the coach hopes, then they're very easily, dispendable, and you can take them out very quickly. So that's something that I would have learnt this week. And again, the Guns, just even if they have a lighter week, they come back with a vengeance. And some of these middle tier guys like the Hudson Youngs and the Elliots and the Tupanuas obviously had a better week, but they are going to be more up and down, and they really annoy you in terms of the brain being able to not trade them, or to hold on steady, or it's so much easier to do that with a gun. When they have a bad week, it's like, oh no, they'll be fine, they'll come back like a Crichton. But these guys like Elliot, I know a lot of people will be like, nah, terrible score, he's gone. But you watch next week, you get 55 or something. So they're the kind of the lessons I'm looking at this week in round 7, and I really think it's an important time to start slowing down those trades. Like, I kind of worked out for me this week. I just had Pap out, and I was like, okay, I don't want to spend too many trades. Just went for the one trade. Hampton brought in 49 points. You're happy with that? Obviously, I'm kind of hoping for around 40 with him, and just as a stopgap there, and I'm slowly starting to bank some trades. Whereas if I could have traded out a Turpin, for example. Yes, he didn't score as well, but I could have downgraded him to someone like a Curran or something, or a Verrills who didn't score that well, for example, and then upgraded to a Ponga who got 40, and sometimes that'll pay off, and sometimes it's just like, no, it's probably just worth to hold the trades, and see what happens over the next few weeks, and make sure that you're certain with those trades there. And I don't think I was this week. So yeah, something to think about, guys. Let me know what you thought on the week. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one where we analyze my team and also the people's squad there. See you guys.